Hey, MegaJeff back again, doing another quick video of some recent finds. In this case, a recent find, one album with a little bit of history. So yeah, I've had this. This is an album I had in the '80s. Love it, but it's been a little harder to find. Now, yeah, I could have went online and paid and bought it, but even online, it seemed like the prices were just a little more out of the range usually than what I really wanted to pay. So it's one of those albums where I'm like, one day I'll find it. One day I'll find it. I try to sometimes leave some things to that kind of chance. One day I'll find it in the wild, and then it'll be a great find. And in this case, it happened. Now, we went down. There's a little store. It's been open maybe a year or so. I don't know. It's down by the actual beach in Virginia Beach, down by the beach. It's a little store that has a couple $100. I don't know. Maybe they got $1,000 or so. And I found some stuff there, but typically they have a rock section, but I rarely find much metal, But again, it's all up to whatever people sell to them. Since they opened, though, there has been one album that I kind of toyed with the idea of buying, and it was a metal album, but I'm like, I'm not paying that amount for it. They had a copy of the only Venom album I ever had as a child. They had a copy of an original pressing of it, War with Satan. But they wanted $60 for it, and maybe it's worth $60, but it's not worth $60 to me. I'm not a huge Venom fan. It was a nostalgic thing. We used to laugh at that album at the day when it came out back in the 80s. It was obnoxious, that song Arg on there. But, since then I have come to respect a little bit more of what Venom was doing, trying to do what they did. Not into the whole satanic side joke. To me, it's a joke. But the stuff that they tried to do wasn't into that. So I'm not a huge fan. But they had this album, and I thought, it's one of those things where, and I think I have the reissue of like black metal or something. If it's the right price, I might pick it up for my collection. And so they had this album, they wanted $60 for it, and it sat there. Every time I went to the store over the next year, it was there, it was there, it was there. And that was really about the only thing metal on there. I've picked up a lot of great stuff there, but it's all been classic rock filler type stuff for decent prices. I picked up all those old 38 special albums, all kinds of great stuff, lots of cool jazz stuff in the dollar bin. We were heading out and about, and we were down in that area, and she's like, where do you want to go? I said, why don't we swing by that record store? And she said, cool, because there's like a gift shop next to it that she wanted to go to. And so we went there. Went in there, flipped, no Venom album. Because my thoughts were, it's been in there now for over a year. I was going to go up to the guy and say, look, I'll give you $30 for it. It's about what I'm seeing the prices online. I was going to make him an offer and see what he said. But it was gone. It was gone. But what did I find? Lay Down the Law by Keel in amazing, pristine condition as far as the vinyl. Silver label, Shrapnel. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Anything on Shrapnel from back in the day, I'm going to buy. They were one of my go-to labels. Same as Metal Blade. 80s Metal Blade albums I would buy in a heartbeat. Sight unseen, band unheard, because they were putting out the stuff that I liked in the 80s. And it was straight up heavy metal. It wasn't, hair metal of the day. Metal Blade, Shrapnel, those were the labels that were doing it. There were some other ones out there too, but this is the only Keel album I've had problems finding for a decent price. I see all the other albums in the wild, and again, Shrapnel's a smaller label, harder to find. They had this. They don't have much metal, but they had this. And it was a good price. I'm like, okay, I'm going to support local business, and I'm going to pay a little less than I think I can find it online, and it's in great condition. Finally got a copy. Absolutely one of my favorite albums. So this is the first one, and then they got signed. Let's run real briefly through. I did an entire Keel collection video not too terribly long ago. I think I did that, the first one, you never forget. Right to Rock. This was their first major label debut. That did that. The Final Frontier, this is the one they've got down at the Painted Tree. They got two copies in shrink. They have a notch in them, but they have the hype sticker, both of them. And I thought, oh, that'd be nice. They also have Keel with the hype sticker, but I have Keel with the hype sticker. It's a promo copy because the hype sticker stuck right on there. It's I believe, yeah, it's gold stamp promo. Hype sticker stuck right on there. Larger than live. Great half album live, half album of cool stuff. And then these two are the later, so that's their 80s stuff, and then they disappeared, and then they came back in the 90s with Back in Action. And this one is a like Night of the Vinyl Dead or something, one of those reissues that came out finally, handful of just a couple years ago. And the same with Streets of Rock and Roll. This is their 2000 something or another album that finally got a vinyl reissue again on Night of the Vinyl Dead, 37 of 400. So that completes the entire Keel collection. And then most of us know he like went back to Tennessee, which I think is where he was originally from. That's where Steeler started. I have the Steeler album, of course. That's like the first taste of Ron Keel we got. But that's where Steeler started. And they are reissuing a Steeler, the early stuff. I bought that Steeler like box set where it was it had a 7-inch single, and then it had a CD of a bunch of the tracks from the early recordings before the Steeler album that had come out, the one with Malmsteen and all that. So that is coming out on full vinyl in April, and so it's on my wish list. But so he went back to Tennessee and he did a couple. Ronnie Lee Keel, he did a country album. He did a country album with the band called the Rattlers. So he did a lot of some straight up country. Then he later kind of popped back up with Iron Horse, which is Southern rock. Great stuff. I would love to see those two albums. I think there's only two. I only have two. Would love to see those on vinyl. He and then he did some other solo stuff. And one of the major, in my opinion, major returns was when he did Metal Cowboy with just Ron Keel. I have the original CD of this. I did like the Kickstarter, whatever the crowdfunder was. Way back in the day, it's autographed, signed to me, and all that stuff. So that was great. I believe it got reissued. It might have even been remastered, remixed, or something with the reissue. And then that got released on vinyl. So I picked up that. So I have that Metal Cowboy. Great stuff. It's a kind of a Southern rock. It's kind of it's hard rock with the country Southern rock flair. And then he kind of did the Ron Keel band, Fight Like a Band, very similar to Metal Cowboy, but more of a band project. Great stuff there. And the Ron Keel band, not on vinyl, South by South Dakota. This is a covers album. Train, Rockin' Into the Night. A lot of Southern rock covers by the band. And then he's done a couple limited edition when this is over. These are, I guess, from forthcoming albums, maybe. This is 2023, 2022. A single, and he did a single for Keel. This is not really a single, Keel. This is them redoing some Keel songs. The Right to Rock, Here's Today, Gone Tomorrow, Tears to Fire, and then a medley of modern versions of that. And then he did Keel World recently, and this is a I don't know, it's got like all of the different bands on there. This just got reissued on vinyl. It came out a year or two ago, and then the vinyl reissue just came out this past few months. And it's got Steeler, it's got Keel, it's got the Ron Keel Band, it's got Iron Horse, it's got Ronnie Lee Keel, it's got Emerald Sabbath, which is kind of a Sabbath cover band that he's in, and then it's got the RFK All-Stars. So it's got like every lineup of what he's done. I believe they're all new songs. So there is a new Keel song in here. I need to dig into it deeper. I believe it's guys from all of those different outfits got together at some point and put this out. So it's a bunch of individual type things brought together. It's new recordings and new things. It's not a compilation of old stuff. Great stuff. But that's it. Ron Keel, my collection of early Keel metal band stuff is complete. Finally found that. Now this store did they had one other metal album, like the Venom album. It was overpriced, in my opinion, more than I'm going to pay for it, but it's probably worth it because I looked it up online and it doesn't sell for much cheaper online. He had Eternal Nightmare by Violence, an original 80s pressing, and he wanted $100 for it. Way out of my price range. I'm not that big of a fan of that band at all. And it has been reissued. So you can get it for 20-something bucks. But for the collector, that might be a great price. That's the only other metal album that he has there at the store when I went last. But that's it for this one. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll talk to you later. Rock on. Rock hard.